Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. Hey, Jordy, did you know that we're on other platforms too?
Really, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and if you would like to talk to us, Discord and Reddit.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, you should subscribe too. Thank you.
One take. Oh, hey, it's you again.
It's us.
Yeah, it's us actually, but you're listening.
It's us, but we have audio. That's proper.
We're making transmissions into your ears again.
I was going to include a clip of audio of me saying that I'm a genius, even though I was staring directly at the audio monitor, because that's true. Last episode, the audio cut out and I had to replace it with the Zoom cam. Even though I'm staring directly at the laptop and can see the waveforms, I didn't notice.
I mean, you kind of like towards the end, and
Yeah.
I remember you saying as well you weren't feeling too good.
Yeah.
So it was like. I think you look at it, but it's just there in front of you. I don't think you're
I just
monitoring
see the red.
it.
I don't see anything
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
It's a mesmerizing wave going one.
I'm monitoring in my ears, Jordan.
because I can see it too. I
Yeah.
didn't we have a monitor here. All right, today is a bit different, mostly because this is the first day in 61 weeks we haven't filmed on a Monday.
I mean, it's no different for the people listening at
No.
home. For them, there's no change, so I don't know why you said that.
I have broken the 60-week tradition of coming every Monday. Actually, no, it's not true. I did come
That's
here
kind
on
of
the Monday.
infrequent. That's not very healthy.
Yeah, so we're filming on Tuesday because I'm going camping. I'm going to be doing like a short film type thing, but I'll plug that once I've actually finished it. I think you're all going to like it when I've done it.
Is it a horror suspense where there's a boogeyman that comes and kills you?
Yeah, what they don't know is that I'm actually going there to murder all of them.
You did a collab with the prank patrol dude. You know him. Like, you have connections.
No, I don't know him. I have met him.
You've touched him.
I have touched him, but I have...
He's touched you, Jordy, a small boy.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I suppose that's true, but not in that way.
Can we talk about something for a second?
Yeah.
Call me Carson.
I don't know anything about it. I know there is something happening, but
Would you like to guess what this man has done?
What has he done?
He has groomed children.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so, well, allegedly, I should say, even though there's text conversations where he says he shouldn't be doing this.
That's never a good sign.
The thing is, like, he was 19 and the girl was 17, which is technically not a problem, but he's in a position of high power, and he literally says, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, look, if you're going to do it, at least don't say that.
Yeah.
Because you're not helping yourself in the Twitter court that everything is decided in these days. Or you could just not groom kids. But,
Yeah,
I'll leave that up to you.
only with a hairbrush.
Yeah, literally. Take them to the hairdresser. That's where the grooming stops for kids. Take them to
Isn't
the
that where it
hairdresser.
starts? Because that's you get groomed at the
Yeah, but you don't go any further than that.
Okay.
Because that's bad.
Dude, I don't like this conversation
Me neither.
anymore.
We're going to go off it. So we have to film 2 episodes today.
Yeah.
So this, it's gonna be a heavy
Jordy's fault
session.
entirely.
It is
in
my
this
fault
hot, sweaty
entirely.
room.
I really wanted to go camping. My mindset hasn't been quite as good as it once was, so I decided I needed to get a bit of a back to nature getaway
I
type
was going to
thing.
say something really mean. I was going to be like, you're in a dark place.
Yeah.
That thing that every single
Yeah,
YouTuber says.
I mean, I am. So I wanted to get away from that, have to do something nice, so I'm going to film it, make a little thing. I already mentioned that. Anyway, today, I was always looking for another person to do one of my character studies on, right? Because the John McAfee one did really well. It's one of our best viewed videos on the
Do you think
channel.
that's from people trying to Google how to uninstall McAfee?
It's quite possible. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite possible. But today, not today. I was watching a bunch of videos, and then all of a sudden, this video comes up in my recommended about a guy named G.G. Allin. Have you heard of this man?
Sounds familiar.
Oh, I would. It triggered something in my brain. And if anyone out there listening who knows who this is, you know what's coming. And at first, I thought that I was a victim of a punking because I was convinced that this isn't a real man.
Okay.
But this man is not only crazier.
Is he the man that built that weird hotel to fucking trap people and shit?
No, that's H.H. Holmes.
Okay. Double letter
Yeah.
names. Is that a weird fucking brain relation I just had?
Yeah. Which is, I would love to do an episode on him,
Yeah.
but he's a serial killer, and there's shitloads of podcasts about that anyway.
Yeah.
So, today we're going to be talking about G.G. Allin, the most hardcore punk rocker of all time. And there's no way else to say this, but if you're eating or if you're drinking, I highly suggest you stop. Because this is a fucking gross one.
There's quite a few punk rockers. There's this one, like, female performer where, like, I think every set she's played, the fucking just place burns down. And they encourage people to the backstage and just have weird fucking orgies involving, like, pain and shit.
This is actually kind of worse than that.
Okay.
But you're on the right page. You're on the right page. So I've gone through, like, his entire Wikipedia page. I've watched videos, and I think I'm ready to tell you about, and this is a quote, the most spectacular degenerate in rock and roll history. Okay. So that is from a TV show that aired called, what was it called again? Oh yeah, That's Tough. So it previews, like, the toughest dudes and the craziest people on
Baddest
Earth.
mofos.
And they called him the most spectacular degenerate in rock and roll history.
For some reason I had in my brain that Gigi Allen was a woman, mostly because of that one performer, Gigi or something.
Joji.
No. No.
Okay, so without further ado, please don't eat, please don't drink.
Just don't eat.
Ever again.
Yeah.
And let's get into, without any further ados, into Gigi Allen. Not into him, though, because you don't really want to do that. Okay, so this man's life was fucking wacky from the start, right? From the day he was born, because Gigi Allen's real name, and I fucking shit you not, is Jesus Christ Allen.
What the fuck? That's not his fault.
That is on his birth certificate. He was born in 1956 in New Hampshire to Mr. Merle Colby Allen Sr. and the lovely Arleta Gunther.
Merle Colby Allen Sr.
Merle Colby Allen Sr.
That sounds like the genome for some sort of viral infection. Merle Colby Sr. disease.
All I can do is imagine what the fuck Merle and Arleta talk about on a day-to-day basis. Other than
I don't think you're allowed to be in a relationship if you have names like that.
No, I don't think you're allowed to exist as a human being.
Yeah,
if that's
just illegal.
Anyway, so as for the name, right? So when someone asked Gigi why his name was fucking Jesus Christ, he explained that his dad, you know Merle, had been visited by baby Jesus himself.
The baby specifically.
Well, just Jesus.
Not full-grown Jesus.
Yeah. Merle Sr. had been visited by Jesus himself and said unto him that his son would be, quote, a great man in the vein of the Messiah.
I thought you were going to say the hardest rock god in the fucking...
Gonna make the purest and the dankest of metal.
The grungiest shit.
So, already you're kind of getting a picture of Merle here, right?
Am I?
Yeah, I mean, he got visited by Jesus.
Is the dad the main piece here, or is it Gigi?
No, it's Gigi, but I'm giving you backstory as to why Gigi is the way he is.
Okay.
So, if you name your kid Jesus, right, you have to be pretty fucking sure they're going to do something good in life.
You have to be Spanish or, like, Hispanic to do that.
Well, I guess, but, that's a awful big weight to carry there, burden, that's the word I was thinking of but couldn't say because I couldn't think of it. It's very presumptuous, the OG Jesus did a lot of pretty dope stuff, so how are you going to live up to that anyway?
Did you just synonym the letter like G with Jesus?
Yes I did.
Okay, well what is that called?
I think Oh Jesus is a rapper.
Oh Jesus. What is the word? What abbreviate? You abbreviated the letter J with the letter G.
Yeah. I did a fun little English language trick for you all. My brain is fried in this heat, so I'm not at the peak of my comedy. You'll have to forgive me.
I bet you say GIF as well.
No, I don't.
And jibs.
No, I don't. I definitely don't.
I say jibs, but mostly because John Carmack says jibs.
Yeah, that's why I say it.
Yeah.
So, the Allen family all lived in a big log cabin. Well, it wasn't actually very big. And had no running water and no electricity. Gigi had an older brother whose name was also Merle. So, his older brother's name is Merle and his dad's name is Merle Sr.
Bunch of clones.
Yeah. And Merle, his brother, couldn't pronounce Jesus. So he just called him Gigi and then the name kind of just stuck. So there you go.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. So, Merle Sr. Was a wacky religious fanatic who consistently threatened to murder his family. He even fucking dug graves for each of them.
Wait, Merle or
Merle
Gigi?
Sr.
Okay, yeah.
So from now on, if I'm talking about Merle, I'm mostly talking about his dad. So Merle Sr., he literally dug graves in the backyard for every one of them. So everyone except him had a grave.
Yeah.
And he said...
Can I tell a little, like... sorry, you go on with
Yeah, no, he said... He would threaten to, quote, fill them one day. I just thought that was... Like, there's so many fucking ominous-ass quotes in this that...
out of context kind of shit. I've read a fucking post from, like, r/kids are stupid, and it was like, as a kid, me and my brother were told to do the dishes by our mother, but we didn't want to, so we had the idea to dig holes in the backyard to bury ourselves in to hide. But then from the mother's point of view, she asked the kids to do the dishwasher, and then they decided to dig their own graves instead. They didn't want to do the dishwasher so bad, they literally dug their own fucking graves.
That was my least favorite job, and still is my least favorite job to do.
Doing the dishes?
Unpacking and packing the dishwasher.
I hate it mostly because I have spinal issues, so it's genuinely painful for me to do.
I just don't know why I hate it so much, but yeah, I've always hated it.
You have no excuse.
No, I don't. Other than the fact that I just hate it.
I mean, that's why you got Allin, right?
Yeah. Doom, boom, doom, doom, doom. Yeah, no. Please don't break up with me. Gigi wrote an essay on his upbringing for school. He called it The First 10 Years. And...
Not the first tenure?
No.
Okay.
Where he said that his dad, quote, despised pleasure and never let his family have contact with anyone.
That's the most, like, metal background shit ever.
Oh, it gets worse.
My father displeased pleasure.
It gets worse. This man's life is just an actual tragedy from start to finish. So Gigi said, quote, we were more like prisoners than family, and that Merle Sr. had plans to commit a murder-suicide on his whole family at some point.
I like how he's just openly planning this. Like, I'm gonna kill you and then kill me.
How does this come up?
One day that grave will be filled, and I'll be in there too.
Dad, can you pass me the salt? I will fucking kill you.
I'll salt your grave.
And I'm taking myself with you.
I imagine him more of like a fucking like squealy kind of like just higher pitched like
I'll take you with me.
No, just like some like 18th century kind of bullshit. Like people just, I guess people didn't talk like that. That's just recordings we heard of him.
Yeah. This is 1956, so it's not in black and white yet, you know. Well, I think it is actually in black and white. Yeah, it is. The world is in black and white. Everyone runs really fast, you know. And you know what Gigi had to say about all this, right?
Please don't kill me.
No, he said he was glad that all this happened to him because, quote, it made me a warrior soul at an early age.
Yeah.
So you got a murderous fanatic father figure here and a kid named Jesus, and we're only getting started. That's a good story, right?
Isn't it? I mean, it's kind of inevitable that someone called Jesus is going to be murdered, right?
Jesus Christ.
I mean, he literally got crucified, so I guess it's kind of like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Jordy, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah. Funnily enough, our leader was getting sick of Mr. Merle Sr. and his fucking wacky ways and decided, fuck it, I'm going to escape this marriage. So she just decided one day she was going to try and escape, right? Okay. And Merle Sr. saw her trying to escape and fucking kidnapped Gigi. And then, so she decided to stay to keep Gigi safe, right? And then eventually she just got a divorce. And then I don't think he did anything after that because he was probably too far gone at that point. And then after the divorce, she finally decided to change Gigi's birth name to Kevin Michael Allin, just to give the poor fucker a chance at
these,
school.
Like, weird names.
Yeah, just to give the poor guy a fucking chance at school.
Who's named Michael?
His name's Kevin.
Who's Michael?
It's like Kevin, middle name Michael.
Who's Michael, though?
What do you mean?
You'd like, typically middle names are like your father's name or like your grandpa's name.
No, that's not the case.
Where the fuck did Michael come from?
You can have whatever you want.
Yeah, my kid's having 2 first names.
Yeah, I mean, that's already a bad
first
sign.
Names. There's a middle name that's a first name and a first name.
Oh, I mean, it's better than Jesus Christ.
Like my name is Thomas Darren Goff. Like my biological dad is Darren.
Yeah. I mean,
Where's Michael? Who's Michael?
There's no rules for this. You don't have to do that.
I mean, It kind of is.
It's 1956, you know.
That's it's traditional.
I mean, why would you want to name it after Merle anyway? He's already got a brother named Merle. His fucking whack job father was Merle Senior. I don't think you want to be close to Merle anymore.
That's really strange.
I mean, who the fuck would want to be called Merle anyway?
Yeah.
That's a shocking name. Anyway, sorry any Merles out there. During school, to put it bluntly, he was dog shit. He had to repeat the 3rd grade and had a general disinterest in school. In his 2nd year of high school, he started coming to school, and this was in quote marks in the article I was reading, cross-dressed.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means he wore a skirt and heels every day, or whether he just put a pink shirt on once.
I can imagine like a punk rocker wearing like heels and shit and like fucking tights.
And I mean, like, that's the one thing when I was reading this, and I was like, why did that have to be in quote marks? That's like not even worth.
It's 1950, so I'm guessing like their idea of cross-dressing is not wearing big ass fucking like cargo shorts or like long johns and shit.
He was quoted as saying that his school life was very chaotic, full of chances and dangers. We sold drugs, stole, broke into
snakes
houses.
and ladders. What the fuck does that mean? Chances and dangers.
I don't know. I don't know. Some
motherfucking D&D campaign shit right there.
I don't know, dude. Broke into houses, broke into cars, did whatever the fuck we wanted for the most part, including all the bands we played in.
Nice.
And which we're gonna get to that. So this kid is just going through some shit, right? He decides that his outlet, like many others, is going to be music because he likes music. You know, we all like music, don't we?
Yeah. I was on Twitter. I mean Tinder, and fucking everyone has the music tag. Who the fuck doesn't like music?
Yeah.
Why is that like a thing?
I don't know.
Like, who doesn't like music?
Yeah,
music
and that's the broadest thing to put as an interest anyway.
Music is literally a universal thing.
Yeah.
Our brains have, like, specific hardware to decode music.
Yeah, and it's you should just be able to put genres,
or
not
specific,
music.
Specific wetware.
Yeah.
That's the term. That is wetware.
I'll believe you.
Yeah, or jellyware.
Okay. Not wearing any jelly today, Tom.
Okay. It's in your brain.
Oh, well, that's true. That grosses me out to think about, so I'm going to continue. Jelly. Yeah, I know.
Your brain is a weirdly
I remember it fucking
firm...
made me want to cry when I realized my brain's just floating around. Like,
I mean, it's not.
It's like sloshing around up there.
It has like it's called the blood-brain barrier. It's like a soft, bloody tissue.
I don't know what's better than that.
Did you ever like dissect shit in middle school?
Nah, I threw
high
up.
School?
I was always exempt because I couldn't do it.
I don't like cutting things open, but I remember one time in middle school, it was specifically in the building that Japanese class happens to, because burnt into my brain is me holding a fucking pig's heart, dripping all over my hand, and looking up and seeing like katakana on the wall. So that's just a visual that's burnt into my brain. The
science lab with this putrid smell, which is still in my brain.
Little gas burners and shit.
Yeah, well, just the dead fucking rat.
Yeah.
Like, the room full of dead rats everywhere.
Isn't that fucking strange? I think we've talked about this, but like, oh yeah, for class we're going to get a bunch of kids just to hack open animals and look at them.
Yeah, I don't remember anything that I did then, so it can't have been too fucking helpful for me. So I think you could probably just cut that out, for lack of a better term, of the curriculum, but I don't know, I'm not a teacher.
Scalpel that right out of there.
Yeah. So Gigi, you know, he decides he's going to start playing some music. And he formed and joined a fuckload of bands over the years. And just a few of these bands are The Jabbers, The Scumfucks, Little Sisters Date, Malpractice, The Cedar Street Sluts.
Little Sisters Date? What the fuck does that mean?
It's exactly what you're thinking but are afraid to say. The Carolina Shit Kickers, Bulge, the Toilet Rockers, the Criminal Quartet, I like that one, the Murder Junkies, and my personal favorite, the Texas Nazis.
I don't like band names with the in them. It's like movies with the.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little cringe. But
every single fucking Doctor Who episode is the child who lived.
Yeah.
The man who fell.
Yeah. It's a little like...
The terrible episode.
It's like if you don't have any like cool ideas or anything, you just use the, because it makes it sound more official.
Doctor Who's down the toilet.
Yeah.
Doctor Who is, I think, Katie Whittaker or Jodie Whittaker, the person who's playing the Doctor at the moment. She's literally leaving because she's fucking tired of them like destroying her character.
Yeah.
And they, you know how there's a New Year's Eve special or Christmas episode? wasn't on Christmas, and it wasn't on New Year's Eve. It was on like fucking like the day after Boxing Day or something.
Oh.
They literally just bumped it like, yeah, let's move Doctor Who into the a less favorable slot.
Yeah.
That's how you can tell.
Yeah, that's how you know they're losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so what's funny about all this is like after this is when it gets fucked up. It hasn't. This isn't fucked up yet.
No, the stuff after this is fucked up.
Like we haven't even gotten to the actual fucked up part yet. So Gigi said himself that he believed if it wasn't for music that he would be a serial killer, which is what you want to hear.
Instead,
right?
he's killing these fucking riffs.
Can I just say that makes perfect fucking sense because this kid's childhood is like a literal it's textbook serial killer breeding ground.
Red flag, like fucking please investigate this man.
This
kind
is
of thing.
like 1,000 red flags.
All he needs to say is, "Oh yeah, I also tortured small baby animals."
Yeah, that, like there's a like short of I don't know if he burned houses or like burned shit and fucked with animals and stuff.
Man, I just don't get it. Like when other people feel sad, I don't get that. You know, I don't know if I can understand what sad is.
Yeah. See, I could completely believe that he could have very much gone down a darker path than he did, and he went down a fucking dark one. So
man, I like holding knives and like just pointing guns at people. You know, I just really like that.
Do you mind if you hold this with your ribs? I'm just interested to know how that feels.
Yeah.
So he was quite obsessed with serial killers, even though he wasn't one himself, or at least he says he wasn't.
I mean, blood is just so interesting. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can I taste you? Is that weird? Is that weird? Can I taste you?
Can I have some of your blood?
Yeah. I just want to drink. He actually did do that.
Wow, nice. It's metal, dude.
Yeah, I realized that as you were saying it.
It's metal because there's iron content in blood.
Yeah, true. So he was quite obsessed with serial killers, though, and he even wrote and visited John Wayne Gacy while he was in prison.
My idol.
And, you may have heard of him.
Yeah.
What's fucked is Gacy painted a portrait of him, and he used it as an album cover for one of his, which is the most fucking metal thing I could possibly think of.
Jordy, not that I, like, agree with Charlie Manson or anything, but if Charlie Manson painted a portrait of us... There's no way I wouldn't use that for our music.
Not
There's
would I
no
let that
fucking
slide.
way. There's no
I would
way.
have that shit framed before you even knew it.
I would literally have that tattooed on me.
Oh, yeah.
And then have the little plaque at the bottom literally saying Charlie Manson, like 2020.
Charlie was here.
Yeah.
He quickly became a fucking raging alcoholic and literally took any drug that was given to him. Like, you could just fucking give this man...
Just hand him shit.
Just pure fucking cyanide, and he would just take
just hand him any kind of material, and he
literally
just put
anything,
it into
and he would ingest it. All right. This is where if you have any food and drink, you're gonna want to just put it on hold for a little bit. So at this point is when he started to experiment on stage. He wanted to have like the craziest fucking shows on earth. So one night he decided to take a shitload of fucking laxatives. And you know where this is going.
I thought it was going to involve like blood and torture and shit, not shitting himself on stage.
It does.
Bloody shit.
So a few hours before the show, he took these, right? So he was fucking holding it in for hours.
I'm just imagining him standing with a guitar, being like his legs are closed. He's like, Yeah.
So he's holding in a violent amount of shit because he took so fucking many.
Yeah.
And then when he got onto the stage, he just fucking blasted ass all over the stage.
Okay.
And apparently that night, the venue owners, as you would expect, got fucking nutty upset.
How would you react to that?
I don't think he would process it at first.
Like you're in the stage crew doing the audio and shit, and like you're friends with the owner, and you just look up and you just see shit. Like, what do you do? Do you keep going? Do you just shut down? Yeah,
I would probably just shut down, I think. And all the people who went to this, he already had crazy shows, right? He had been in prison before, I think, before this, and he would always have crazy shows. He would beat the fuck out of people.
A show from prison.
Yeah, well, I mean, he probably could if he would. But, so, the venue owners went fucking crazy, and all the kids in the crowd ran for the door because, like, at first they were just like, is this real? Is this, like, actually happening?
Some prosthetic shit.
According to one of
some special effects
bullshit. Band members who was playing as well.
Yeah.
The smell was incredible. So they all had to...
Now that's a man that doesn't have a shit
That
fetish.
was in all caps.
That's a man...
Incredible.
That's a man that does not play with his fecal matter privately or publicly.
So this wasn't even him. Like, he was up there on stage with this man shitting himself on stage and screaming and starting fights and shit.
I when you said shitting, I imagine he bent down and literally just like rocket launched shit into the audience. That'd be disrespectful. That's why it was funny when you said the kids were running away like they didn't want to be shat on.
Well, he did end up doing that.
Nice.
He ended up shitting in his hand and fucking launching it into the audience later on in his career.
Wow.
So after that day, he started taking dookies at all of his shows. He would and was arrested many
That just
times.
seems uncomfortable. I hate not wiping or like the idea of not having toilet paper. I would not be able to fucking stand
get ready
that.
then.
Was his guitar like stained brown by the end of all this?
He barely fucking played because he would get like 2 songs in and the venue would shut him down and then he would be kicked out because he immediately, he didn't even build up to the shitting on stage.
Yeah.
He just walked on dribbling out his pants some bum gravy or
He's
some
not
shit.
the lead guitarist or lead musician. He's the lead fecalist.
Yeah. And you know, he was arrested many times for indecent exposure, and assault, and a bunch of other things, right? Because he would just get naked.
He's literally a serial shitter.
It's not like he's shitting in his pants.
Literally a serial shitter.
Yes, literally. And he actually planned to commit suicide live on stage, right? That's fucking metal. On Halloween night in 1989,
God.
but got thrown in jail before he could go through with it. Wow. And he kept saying year after year that he would do it, but funnily enough, kept getting thrown in jail. And when people asked him why he never went through with it, which is a fucking dick thing to say.
Yeah. Why didn't you kill yourself, bro?
Yeah,
That
why
would've been
haven't you
cool.
done it yet, dude?
That would have been cool, bro.
This is what he said.
Right.
With Gigi, you don't get what you expect. You get what you deserve.
You get what you deserve.
Yeah.
Now that's a serial killer thing to say.
What are you thinking about this man right now?
I like to imagine that he's just some dad bod looking dude. Like he's not like a young fit like big hair metal dude. He's just some dad looking guy with a beer gut and a fucking like petticoat vest with fucking patches and shit, just hobbling around and shitting on people, but everyone kind of secretly loves him, but they pretend not to like him. I have that image of him.
That is spectacularly accurate. I will show you a picture of him at the end because I didn't think to do that, but that is very accurate.
Like, people don't want to be shit on, but they're also like, oh, that's kind of cool, I saw that.
I think anyone would go to these shows purely just to see if it really did happen.
They don't believe it.
And they never go back again.
That's
I feel like
funny.
he would have some hardcore fans, but no one is like kind of interested.
I mean,
in
you would
what he
have to
does.
be hardcore to be able to be a fan of him.
He did so many different genres too. He did like just talking, like spoken word. He did country. He did punk.
Wow.
He did rock. He did so much shit, right? Okay, so further along down the line, he had like kind of a famous interview on the Jane Whitney show, which I'd never heard of. But,
Me neither.
you know, people out there probably care.
Some old people shit right
He
there.
mentioned some of the fucked up things that he claims to have done, including sleeping with 12, 13, and 16-year-old girls and boys.
Fuck.
Fucking animals, and claimed that he had raped both men and women at his shows before.
What the fuck?
He also said that if he did go through with that if he did go through with the suicide on stage, he would take his fans with him, either by forcing them to commit suicide themselves or by killing them himself.
Oh my god.
This is on TV, he said this.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. That's like shit you can literally be arrested for saying.
Yeah, well, that didn't bother him.
Inciting violence and like fucking plotting to commit like criminal acts.
I remember reading somewhere like he said that he was like made out of rock and roll. Like he just wanted to embody.
Oh, that's still recording.
He just wanted to embody rock and roll and be the most fucking hardcore he could.
I don't know
possibly
about
be.
conventional rock and roll. I think he's more in like a grungier kind of thing. I think it kind of stops at literally raping children and wanting to murder your fans.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with you there. Okay, so to keep this episode from being like 1,000 years long, because you know, I could. There's a plethora of shit I haven't mentioned. Like
Plethora of shit.
I didn't even mean to do that.
Funny.
it really could be like a fucking 3-hour episode. Seriously.
Yeah, I want to break soon so we can fucking...
Now we know about the shitting.
Let me remotely... Oh, I can't because the back door is closed. I was going to remotely turn on the air conditioner.
Oh,
you know.
Dang. Now we know about the shitting, but sometimes he would rub it all over himself and fling it into the crowd.
Nice.
He would throw beer bottles at people.
DIY
he broke a
shit,
girl's
slip and
nose
slide.
that way.
That's like the least tame thing.
Yeah, he would start fights, get naked, randomly punch people, and make them punch him back as hard as they could. Vomit onto the crowd. Just trash sound equipment and venues and so much more.
He stops at things related to his penis, though. That's a no-go zone for him.
I didn't hear anything about him taking a pee-pee on anyone.
Yeah.
It was all about the scat
or
for
any
him.
other thing. Like, yeah,
He's
literally...
a scat, man.
I mean, that's kind of a sign of sexual abuse, isn't it? Wanting to be covered in shit and then being very precautious about your penis. So.
Yeah. But now, to his final show, where he had done, as he had done many times before, he was taking shits and starting fights, all by the second fucking song, when the venue cut the power. Gigi was naturally pretty pissed off with this, and trashed the place, leaving the venue naked, covered in blood and shit. So he's walking down the street, naked, covered in shit and blood.
Nice.
Okay? And he decides, what am I going to do now that I have all this spare time? So he said he's going to go to his friend Johnny Puke's house.
What the fuck?
Now, I don't have any friends with the last name Puke. And I don't know anyone who self-electively makes their last name Puke. So he seems like a stand-up guy, maybe.
I mean, I could probably call myself Tommy Sneeze because of that one time in high school where I fucking sneezed a
Shotgun
volcano.
Sneezed, yeah. So he goes to Johnny Puke's house to party. Still covered in shit and blood, but he has managed to pick up a pair of pants along the way.
I just thought of a shitty dad joke. Like, he doesn't take shit from no one. I mean, like literally, he gives shit if anything.
Yeah.
Like, literally, he'll give you his shit.
Gigi Allin really gives a shit.
Yeah, like, literally,
That's one thing you can say about him. And, he has picked up a pair of pants at this point, and, he goes there and he just does a lot of fucking heroin.
Man playing Rust.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Heroin.
Yeah.
Needles. Covered in shit and blood.
Oh, no.
And naturally from this, Tom...
He's dead.
He died.
Yeah, he's dead.
At the age of 36.
Yeah, that man died.
But...
Yeah.
It's not over.
he actually, Satan wanted to reincarnate. He was the only vessel that was devilish enough for Satan to, like, reimburse himself in.
I wouldn't be surprised, dude, because he was living the life.
Yeah.
So, he had always said, this was in one of his songs that he had made, that he wanted his funeral to be as rowdy as one of his shows. So...
Just a mosh pit.
His unpreserved, shit and blood-covered, bloating corpse was dressed up in a leather jacket and a jock strap like he had worn in some of his shows, and the casket was left open. He was given a bottle of Jim Beam to hold it, and his friends just partied. Posed with his corpse, drank, took drugs.
And then he just explodes.
And just fucking poured drugs and alcohol in his mouth.
Man, they should have done it, like, in the open air, like, in the sun, so that he would eventually explode over everyone.
I mean, to finish it off, though, his brother Merle put a pair of headphones on, put it on full volume, and played one of his albums for him, titled The Suicide Sessions. And while they lowered him into the ground, he was listening to his own music, covered in drugs and shit and piss and blood. But it's not over, Tom.
Yeah.
It's not over.
I knew it wouldn't be over.
There's one last thing before we get to finish and have a brief reprieve. And that is... At his grave, people would come and shit on his grave. By his request.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure he was glad about that.
Yeah.
That's great.
They would leave used condoms, piss on it, vomit on it, and so much more, causing his grave to be moved because he was in a public cemetery. So think about if you go to visit your fucking gran and next to you is a used condom
you're
and
wearing all black and you're like there with your small child grieving and then you just look to some dude literally shitting.
What's that?
Yeah. My God.
So, his mum was not happy with the fact that even though he asked for it, that people were just actively vandalizing her son's grave every day. So she had it moved, and I don't think she told anyone where it is.
I mean, if he wasn't a child rapist, I would shit on his grave.
Yeah, like that yeah, that concludes the story of G.G. Allin. And there is so much more that I haven't said.
It's a good story.
But I thought that one's crazy enough. I have to do an episode on him. So I hope you all didn't vomit during this episode, because I have to tell you, it took me a lot longer to write this episode than it did some of the other ones to get all the information. But hope you enjoyed this one. We're about to record the next one, so, you know, it's right after it for us. But hope you guys have a good week, and we'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye now.